Linda van Tilburg for BizNews, and with me is Wynand Claassen. He probably needs no introduction, but he's a former Springbok captain, former captain of Natal, and he was the youngest ever national Springbok selector. His reign as Springbok captain will always be remembered for the tumultuous tour in New Zealand in 1981. But after retiring from rugby, he remained actively involved in coaching, and he served as a selector and manager, and he was also very involved at the University of Pretoria. And for the rest of the time, he's a well-known architect based in Pretoria. Hi, Wynand, does that do justice to you?
Yeah, no, thank you. Linda, no, it's a mouthful, but there's so many things that I've done in my life. So anyway, that is fine.
Yes, well, thank you for joining us today. Can we first of all discuss that last-minute effort to ensure that the Boks and Proteas can play under the South African flag, which seems that we didn't update the drug-free sport code to comply with the latest world anti-doping code? What do you make of all of that?
Yeah, well, it's pretty certain now again that somebody hasn't done their work. It's been the Department of Culture and Sport has been warned about a year ago, September last year, that they got to get their house in order, and nothing has been done. So it's the old story of somebody not doing their work. And I mean, I was just in a car now on the radio on the news. It said that the Minister of Sport now said they're going to appeal to this thing. I mean, I can't understand it. I mean, they've got a couple of days, and now they rather, try and get something in, at least submit something, and then if it's not right, then they can refer it back. But for more than a year, whatever, they've done nothing. Now they want to appeal. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I mean, that's annoying. I mean, and for the Springboks and the Proteas, both are playing in World Cups. The Springboks are the reigning world champions. Proteas they've started off well, but obviously in the past they haven't done that well in the World Cups in cricket. But still, I mean, if you playing in a foreign land, foreign country for your country, and you stand there and you're singing the national anthem, and there's a lot of supporters always there waving the flags and singing all together. I mean, all of a sudden now he's standing there, and I mean that's a big thing for motivation as well, to hear your anthem and see the people with the flags and the green and gold and all that kind of thing. So I think it's really it's not sad actually. It's actually annoying, that they could really go that far and don't do the work they're supposed to do.
Well, you talked about the importance of wearing that green and gold rugby jersey and the flag, and all the supporters are wearing green and gold. I was at the match in one of the matches in France. They were all wearing it, and then there's always also this kit issue. So the Springboks not only now have the flag, they also sometimes wear this other kit. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think they World Rugby and SA Rugby, sorry, they to blame for this. I mean, the Springbok colours has been going since 1906. I mean, it's 117 years. And they, just because of a sponsor paying a hell of a lot of money, they decided, okay, they're going to play in this bubblegum, toothpaste kind of jerseys. That's shocking. It's absolutely shocking. And I can't understand that SA Rugby allowed that. World Rugby said that it's got to do with people that's colourblind. That you must have a contrast. I mean, that I agree with. But the Springboks alternative jersey, as the All Blacks, whatever, is white with the Springbok emblem and with the green and gold, collar, the Springbok emblem there, and the black trousers. That's always been since 1906. That's been alternative kit when you play against the people, in a green jersey. So why they allowed this? I mean, SA Rugby's got to be blamed. That you sell your whole right and your history for 6 pennies of gold, whatever. I mean, it's absolutely shocking. I mean, I would never see that the All Blacks would agree to that. that they would play in such. They would play an alternative shirt. Also, they played in white before, like the Springboks, but it's clear white, and it's nice and clean. Not this a Chappie type of jersey. It's shocking. And I mean, I can't understand that more ex-Springboks and the public don't stand up against this. You know, SA Rugby has got to be taken to task, as is World Rugby.
You've made your views on the kit well known in a letter that you wrote with Tommy Bedford, also a former Springbok captain, to the World Rugby. Was it the World Rugby Board? You've also mentioned a couple of other things that you are not happy with. Do you think that, what do you think is going wrong with the way that rugby is now being ruled?
Well, I think World Rugby and the guys sitting in the offices and drinking their gin and tonics, and the guys on the board, they got too much power. They rule rugby. They if you just look at the rules, I mean, there are thousands of rules for rugby. The refereeing is shocking. The rules, I mean, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. I mean, and the poor players, the poor spectators, you know, rugby, I mean, I know it's a professional sport now, and it's good. It must be a professional sport. Everybody's got to earn money. It's such a high-profile sport in the world, obviously. But, you know, it seems as though sometimes that the guys in power or the guys in the committees, they're still amateurs. It's a professional game run by amateurs, and they got all the say. I mean, that's a problem. Rugby should be run by ex-players. It's also professionals, guys that understand the game. You know, the rule changes. They should discuss it with coaches worldwide, with captains, with players, with the public, the knowledgeable people. You can't just have all these millions of rules, and the referees. I mean, I feel sorry for them. They sometimes don't know. You know, I mean, just to on an instant. I mean, immediately they got to make a call on something that happens on the field. You know, considering all the many rules that they could apply. So, I think unfortunately, rugby, you know, there's always been a fantastic team sport, a spectacle, running rugby, scrum, lineouts. But now it's stop-start. The scrums sometimes can't get going, you know, because of ref interfering. Penalties, short-arm penalties from scrums. The games couldn't get off the you know, on the go. I mean, if you look at the thing like the line-out, for instance, if the line-out throw is a fraction of an inch, not straight, it's a turnover. You get a scrum, but they allow in scrums. They put the scrum is allowed to put the ball under the feet of the lock. I mean, how do you do that? I mean, it's crazy, and that's a problem. You know, the things rugby needs a total overhaul worldwide. They got to grow the game. A lot of people now. I mean, I've got a lot of friends. They don't even switch on the television anymore. There's too much kicking. There's too much ref interfering. Now it's the TV ref, stop and start. Too much kicking, you know. So all that kind of things. So they're driving people away from the game. The young guys, they don't want to play the game anymore. So that's the thing that World Rugby must realize. I mean, they can't just sit there in the grass chairs and watching the games and in the committee rooms. They got to look at the game holistically and ensure that they change rules, make less rules, and let everybody buy in. But yeah, they got to talk to all the people involved. That's knowledgeable, ex-players, coaches, referees. So that's a problem. That's a lot of things.
You also mentioned in your letter the excessive amounts of red cards and yellow cards. But don't you think that because the players are now so heavy, that you need those rules to make sure that you don't get head injuries or other other injuries. Because if you look at the moment, so many people are injured.
Yeah, no, that's true. But because of the game is very contact, I mean, there's a lot of head clashes. But a lot of those things that happen, if you look at the video, it's unfortunate. A lot of those things are accidents where a guy come in to tackle around, say, the chest or the stomach. Then the player carrying the ball is ducking, he's going, he's ducking to get out of the tackle, and then you get a head clash. So then the tackler gets a red card. And I mean, it's very unfortunate. I mean, I know the players must be protected against these kind of injuries, but sometimes it's really not. It's in a game. It's not deliberate. He didn't go out to high tackle and hit the guy with the head. It's a question of body position. He was, say, under the chest, and then this other guy dipping, and that unfortunately things happen. And then that's where the ref and the TV refs should be also knowledgeable and say, but okay, this was an accident. Let the game carry on. But I understand and I agree that the people's safety and players' safety is very important. So foul play, should really should go out of the game. So that's quite important. But I also think that there are too many stop stars, like short arm penalties. The rucks and the mauls, I mean, you can, on every ruck and maul, you can give a penalty, and it's a free for all. And they should actually maybe make a rule that people or players are only allowed to tackle around the waist or the legs, nothing higher. But then again, then the players will know how to tackle lower. Then there'll be less head clashes, I suppose. So, but anyway, they got to look after the game to make it more safe to players, and also more a spectacle to the players and to the spectators and the followers.
So when you write an open letter like that, do you get a reply at all from them?
We got a reply saying that the one sentence that they'll get back, they'll discuss it, they'll come back to us. It's now more than a month ago. No, nothing. We haven't heard anything. Tommy Bedford, my mate in crime, he wrote him an email this morning just inquiring what happened. We haven't heard anything. So, but other than replying saying they received it and they'll discuss it, we haven't heard anything.
Do you think players like you, ex-players, have a voice when it comes to these issues or new rules, or don't you get asked what do you feel about it?
No, we don't get asked, but I think we've got a right. A lot of these administrators, so-called administrators, has never played rugby at a higher level, but they came through the ranks because it is a prestigious type of job, and they fly to all of the main games and sitting in the main pavilion, and they drink their gin and tonics, and ex-players. I'm getting annoyed that there are so few ex-players that played the game, especially in the professional era, that they don't stand up and be heard. Every voice is important, but a lot of them are involved in rugby, maybe TV commentating. They don't want to step on toes. They don't want to lose their jobs and all that kind of thing. So everybody is cautious, but very few guys are standing up. I just can't understand it. More and more ex-players, and sometimes they refer to us, we're a lot of old players, we're a lot of amateurs, we played in the amateur era. But, I mean, the thing is, I was involved in the professional era as well as a manager and as a selector for a long time. So you move on with times, but the basics of the game still remains the same. The rules change, but the basic and that thing about rugby remains the same. That's where ex-players can give play a huge role to try and get everything in place. The rules and the the way the games it's been going and all that kind of thing. So, it is annoying. I mean, I can't understand why players are not prepared to stand up.
The other issue that you've been involved in and that you've spoken up about is to prevent Newlands Rugby Stadium in Cape Town from being sold. You applied to get the stadium declared a heritage site. What is the latest development there?
Well, we've appealed to the Minister of the Western Cape. We haven't turned it down, but this is not the end of the road. The thing is, there again, I mean, the history and the heritage of rugby, for instance. I mean, Newlands, the first game was they played in 1890. So you're talking about this 133 years ago. And I mean, and now the big argument that they've got, the Western Province Rugby Union, is that the buildings are not so old, but it's got nothing to do with the buildings. It's got to do about the environment, the field where all those events took place, fantastic heritage moments over 130 years. Nelson Mandela, that opened the World Cup in 1995, when the whole crowd stood up and just chanted Nelson, Nelson, Nelson. I mean, that is historical moments of the place, and I can't understand that. I just want to let it go. I mean, it's a prime site. It's a prime stadium, the oldest in the world, and all the test matches have been played. I mean, if you just read about what ex-players like Willie John McBride and you name it, and Sean Fitzpatrick, everybody talked about what Newlands was to them. I mean, so there's a lot of heritage and history on that place, and it's not. They think we want to make it a museum. I mean, you can't make it a museum. We'll keep it as a rugby playing field, reduce the capacity, but apart from that, you do arts and crafts there, shops, all sort of things, music, wine tasting. You change it into a kind of in brackets, a museum. I mean, a daily museum or actually a tourist attraction like the Cape Waterfront, where people go there every day. They can be a hotel, they can be supermarkets, they can be a lot of things, so you can make it a viable proposition, and this can still play rugby there, although Western Province and the Stormers have left. But there's a lot of other rugby, club rugby and things like that, tournaments you can play there, but all around Newlands, the heritage of Newlands. And I believe that Newlands is not actually a provincial heritage site. It's actually a national heritage site, and in a way it's a world heritage site. If you look at the history of things that took place there over 130 years. So yes, we're involved with that, and the problem is Western Province Rugby Union has been bankrupt since 2016. I mean, and now they want to flog Newlands just to get out of trouble. They want to flog their prime heritage, place that they've got. So it is very sad. And once again, somebody has got to stand up for it. You can't just let it go. I mean, we had on a public participation, we had by far the majority of people supporting us. I had some bad criticism from previous Springboks, say, what am I doing here? I'm going to make Western Province bankrupt. But not one of them are standing up for their heritage. And that's again, I can't understand that. Somebody's got to stand up for if things go wrong. We can't just accept everything in the world, So I feel very strongly about that.
Are you prepared to go to court if you don't succeed with the minister?
We keep our options open. There's still a lot of water that can go under the bridge.
Wynand Claassen, so lovely speaking to you, and hope you're successful. Thank you so much for speaking to us.
Pleasure. Thank you for allowing me on the show. Thank you.